Nvidia launched the D.
Buy Apple's watches.
And AMD giving you the GPU you want to buy, you normal person with reasonable income. Let's get into the hot news, everybody.
Kyle.
This is Friday, December 29th, 2023. We're going to get into the last episode of the year talking about how the RTX 4090D officially launched in China yesterday. Now, we're just waiting on this to become a Ti Super variant, and then we have a great name on our hands. RTX 4090D Ti Super.
Wasn't there another GPU that it had a really confusing name? Was it this one that I was talking about? 4090D.
D.
D.
It's probably this one.
It's probably this.
It's a little hard to say, but it's officially out. However, there were rumors that came out last second indicating that maybe Nvidia wasn't going to cut it down after all. Just the tensor cores were going to change, which tensor cores are for the AI processing, so that could be a reasonable way of doing it. Turns out that was a lie. They cut down the tensor cores and the CUDA cores, so it's slower at gaming and AI, because the whole US administration embargo of exporting this has to do with whether or not it scores too high at a certain benchmark, and so it had to cut it down anyway. So I didn't see a way that latter rumor was going to be true.
So the rumor was originally that it would technically have like a little bit of a boost.
Yes.
For gaming.
Correct.
And now it's
no, not boost. Cut down. It was always going to be cut down.
I thought it was going to make up for something.
No, fully cut down. No reason to buy this if you have a 4090.
Or was it the cut? It was a price cut that it was rumored.
No.
No, it's just all bad.
Okay. This was all bad.
Okay.
Same amount of VRAM it does have, same everything else, but it is also selling at the same price. This is literally because the US government made Nvidia do it, so they released a cut down version, but they kept the price the same. So basically them saying nuh-uh to the US, and then here you get less for your money to China. Oh, you can't overclock it. Yeah, there's that is also a problem.
Lower default TGP.
25 watts. Yeah, that's because it has fewer CUDA cores. That is
Economical.
You're right. It's more power efficient. That's exactly what is happening here. But in case you want to run a 4090D, probably not. You want to run a full 4090, you want to run a new GPU, you should check out today's video sponsor, Silverstone, with their KL07E case. Because Silverstone, after producing the most soundproof PC case ever, as tested by Cybernetics, with the SETA Q1, it had a 9.8 decibel reduction in noise level. Silverstone is back at it with another case for those of you looking to silence your PC at a more affordable price. The KL07E utilizes the same asphalt line design from the SETA Q1 to enhance stability and dampening noise and vibration generated by your components. And because a good silence design also requires good airflow, Silverstone has lined the KL07E with fan mounts all in the right places to ensure you get the best balance of noise and performance. Kyle, you want to go grab the sound panels, that the side panels that are also sound dampening panels for that case. Feel how robust those feel.
Oh yeah. I saw these earlier and I didn't know what this was.
Yeah, asphalt line. This is dense.
This is crazy.
Like, here, let me just even knock on this.
It sounds like wood.
Almost,
and
yeah.
it's metal.
Here, I have another Silverstone case panel literally right behind you. Big difference. So you can check out Silverstone's KL07E at the link in the video description. Get yourself a sound dampened case so that you don't have to listen to all the whining of the components. Additionally, no side view mirror, no window rather. No, it's not mirror. It doesn't have a side window. It's all that dense material. Big thanks again to Silverstone for sponsoring today's video. But we got more details coming out about the fact that the Super Series is for really launching. There were also articles that I chose to exclude about Nvidia reconfirmed that they're going to be at CES. It's like, yeah, we know. We know, and also now we have EEC filings coming out from Gigabyte about the 40 series super cards. The 4070 Super, the 4070 Super, and the 4080 Super all are now like confirmed by Gigabyte filing to say that, hey, yeah, they're actually going to sell it. And additionally, we're finding out that the 4080 Super is going to be on the same die as the regular 4080, which is pretty to be expected. So it's a lot of, hey, we kind of already knew.
So they were like, hey, here's a bunch of information you already knew.
Yeah. but just to reiterate for the audience,
It's real, guys.
it's for real.
Whoa, it's so exciting. It's real.
Well, okay, so let's switch topics to talk about people might be like that. Actually, Apple employees might be a little miffed at this current point because now Apple is officially selling their Ultra watches again, the Ultra 2 and the Series 9. Those are all back for sale. I read reports that was like last week, Apple employees had to stay late to pack up all the watches to ship them back to the headquarters because that's how they were going to do Apple Care Plus. They were going to use the ones they already had that they couldn't sell as the replacement unit. So that's what they were doing. They weren't importing anything. But now they're all going back out. So Apple is reshipping the Apple Watches because the ban got paused because Apple appealed it. And so by Saturday, tomorrow, you should be able to go buy your Ultra 2 or Series 9 watch from Apple in case you want to do that.
All this fuss, and the Apple Watches got banned for like, what, 3 days? 4 days?
2. It was 2 days, but this is going to potentially change again because the deadline for this pause is January 10th. And if the appeal hasn't gone through or the Customs and Border Protection doesn't side with Apple that the new Apple Watches don't violate this patent, well then they have to send them all back again. They got to go through the whole process one more time. Just next time you see a genius, just have a little bit more patience with them. Be kind.
Bow to him.
I bow to Reece because he's going to give us the deals. Reece.
Fireball Jutsu.
Yo, happy Friday everyone, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals out on the internet. It is round 2 of Beach Reece today. And starting off with the deals, we have the EVGA XR1 Pro external capture card for only $89.99 with the included promo code, making it $130 off. Then we also have this Lenovo G2720, which is a 27-inch 1080p 144Hz gaming monitor for only $129.99, making it $150 off for what I think is a great looking monitor. And hey, with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm gonna hand you off back to Brett and Kyla for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Well, Amazon's got a deal. They want to make things a little bit better for the environment by also making things better for themselves. They're announcing that they're going to have hydrogen-powered vehicles at some of their warehouses, specifically starting with the Aurora, Colorado fulfillment center. They're going to start having 225 forklifts that are all hydrogen powered. They're partnering with a company called Plug to have the capacity to fuel up to 400 hydrogen fuel cell powered forklifts.
Like what those Toyotas are?
Yes. So the reason I am talking about this is not because it's actually interesting for the end consumer, but rather this has ramifications. If Amazon, who is one of the largest logistic companies in the entire United States, has the ability to start rolling out hydrogen, that could potentially make it so that the supply for delivery, Aurora, Colorado is already getting a delivery of hydrogen fuel cells. Why couldn't then another company piggyback on top of that and then start making it available for vehicles? Because right now, I believe there is only one hydrogen-powered vehicle sold in the United States. It's the Toyota Mirai, and it's only available in California, and I think it's like 9 or 10 total hydrogen fuel cell stations in California.
Basically the most useless car in the country.
Yes. Yeah. It's a pretty interesting situation right now, very much like electric vehicles, although EVs have had a lot more time to develop their infrastructure thanks to Tesla. Hydrogen powered vehicles are unsustainable for anybody who's looking to travel outside of their little bubble that they have. If you have the Toyota Mirai, it is probably one of your vehicles, not your only car. Likely. I don't know who buys these things, but this could potentially make it so if Amazon decides to move forward in this and have multiple different sites that all have hydrogen-powered forklifts, we could potentially see hydrogen-powered Amazon delivery vehicles.
I would love to get certified on a hydrogen-powered forklift.
You look like you could ace that test.
I don't mean to brag or nothing, but in another life, I was probably forklift certified.
Well, talking about some other sustainable vehicle news, their first ever sodium-ion battery vehicle is being sold over in China.
I read soda.
It is soda-powered, you're right. So this is different because instead of being lithium-ion, it is sodium-ion because sodium is way more abundant, it has lower costs, and allegedly superior cold weather performance, despite the fact that it has worse range. So this thing is just kind of a entry-level EV almost, and it's not going to have the full robustness that we've come to see out of lithium-ion batteries like we see in other ones, but it has a range of 157 miles, which is not terrible, based on a 25 kilowatt-hour battery, which is also not bad. So the price hasn't been revealed as far as I've seen, but the first announcement of sodium ion based batteries for this type of implementation was a little over 11 years ago. So when you start reading about new batteries that could potentially be used in EVs, you gotta wait a long time before that tech actually comes out. And even then, it's in an obscure car that is not gonna be sold everywhere in the entire world. It's a good start. We're making good starts.
It's interesting to see it happening at all.
Yes.
Because there was, for a while there, anytime you would bring up electric cars to people, I feel like the people who really didn't want to hear it, their immediate rebuttal would always be like, we're going to run out of lithium in 10 years. Like, that's what they always want to say.
Yes. Or I've also heard the rebuttal of, well, what about hydrogen? Hydrogen's way more renewable. Why wouldn't we just use that? And it has
We just touched on that.
It's all working together for a future where we don't have to huff the gas of old dinosaurs anymore. You can still want to recreationally, though.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got you.
I also would like to continue to huff the Steam Deck.
We don't have
wherever
it
that
over here.
is.
We're giving it away. Oh, frick. We need to talk about the giveaway tomorrow.
Hey, you're welcome.
But what we're going to touch on last, this is the last topic in the last episode of Hot News in 2023.
No!
Prepare your wallets for an affordable AMD GPU that isn't as bad as the 7600. Details are coming out indicating that the 7600 XT has a release date. First reports were indicating that it was going to come out the week of January 22nd, and then further confirmations came out that it's going to launch on January 24th, which happens to be a Wednesday.
My dudes.
You get new GPU, 7600 XT. This is right around the launch of like the 4070 Super. The 7600 XT is not likely to compete with that, but it's supposed to be a step up from the 7600, a cut down from the 7700 XT. It's allegedly only going to be third party only, so there will not be an AMD reference model, but hopefully with its 12 gigabytes of VRAM, falls in the region of around $349, being $100 less than the 7700 XT, about $80 more than the 7600, but hits that sweet middle spot of a $300 to $350 graphics card that actually makes sense for once and actually has modern features that, like, I'm excited for this. I'm legitimately wanting a 7600 XT. The 4060 has its problems at $329 that are just, or $299. I really hope the 7600 XT resolves. I want to see a direct competitor from AMD that slaps the snot out of the 4060.
I don't know, 12 or 10 gigabytes VRAM? I want like 80.
That's good.
I want 7,600 gigabytes of VRAM. Why is nobody giving me that?
You got to download it. Your internet's not fast enough.
I can't download VRAM. That's just silly.
Well, you have to connect your GPU to the internet. You have to get the one with the plug.
Oh, which plug?
The computer plug.
The one with the screws?
I'm going to plug the fact that today over on Twitch right now, we're actually doing a live stream, which is our last of the year, celebrating everything that happened in 2023. And we got a bunch of giveaways going on.
We got giveaways, fellas.
You have to be present in the stream on December 29th in order to win some of these.
Gotta be present to get a present.
Like, ooh, baby. The Steam Deck OLED 512 gig version. We've got the ROG Ally Z1 version. We've got a $1,000 4060 Ti PC and a Samsung 49-inch super ultra-wide OLED monitor, all of which are going to be live draws throughout the day. If you catch us past 5 p.m. Eastern, you likely missed everything. But we have our big grand prize at 3 p.m. Eastern, which is going to be the i9 14900K 4090 PC that you can find out in that video right up there, where we covered it in a sponsored video by Intel. But I don't need a 14900K, so I'm giving it to you.
Also, just stop by if you want to see clip compilations of all the funny stuff we did this year.
Well, let's compile all of the comments from yesterday.
I'm gonna complain about them.
Let's respond to them. We got YG Lucky saying Reece is like a pop-up shop in an MMORPG. Just pops up anywhere with no information of where he's going to be next. And Reece replied, Reece has wares if you have coin. That's the deal master way, I'll tell you. Which, speaking of, today was supposed to be the last day I'm wearing this shirt. I have to wear this all next week. All next week.
It's starting to look
I watched it. Actually, my wife watched it when we came back from the hospital.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, why'd you watch it?
Okay. I was going to say, so it looks like it went through the dryer.
Yeah, it sure
But
did.
I didn't think you had washed it, so it was distressing.
Oh. I've been widowy just rolling around in it. We got King of Sandwiches says, I think most people's issue with digital versus physical content is the cost being the same and physical being permanent ownership. Physical is not permanent ownership. We discussed this yesterday. Physical also disintegrates and dies before your very eyes. Nothing is permanent. Death is coming.
I mean, for all, is it intents and purposes or
Yes.
intensive purposes?
Intense and purpose.
For all intensive purposes,
Yes.
physical is permanent. It's not going to
It's not-
disintegrate in your lifetime.
It's not, though. I've had so many physical media things break on me. I have SD cards that just wear out because I'm plugging them in and plugging them out. I've had CDs that, because I stored them even correctly, just by the act of moving them in and out, get scratches and are no longer readable. The amount of CDs I lost as a teenager because they got corrupted, because then they would skip the track, and like, physical is not permanent.
Wait.
It all dies.
Hold on.
Be prepared.
What's a CD?
I don't know. Things die. It's okay. The cost I get, that doesn't bother me too much. The price of games hasn't gone up if you adjust for inflation. So again, these are all things that for me, I find okay. If I can't afford a game, do you know what I do? I don't buy it or play it. I watch videos on it because YouTube is free. We got Splatterboy saying the New York Times OpenAI lawsuit is extremely important. The concept of copyright infringement and copyright law in general is still being glossed over in discussions surrounding AI training and data sets. It needs to be made extremely clear to OpenAI and other ventures that they can't just help themselves to whatever data they want. Additionally, we should also be discussing further laws which can allow writers or other creatives to protect their intellectual property from being used in data sets against their will, which is all good in theory. I hear what you're saying. I think I personally am in support of your side, which is that I do believe that like training models shouldn't necessarily have free reign over data, to which like the response is always, well, you got to train on other people's data. What's the difference between you and this chatbot? And the difference is I'm a boy. I don't. It comes down to a metaphysical and existential difference rather than a substantial difference. And like, free for private use is different than free for public spreading of your AI to the entire world. The other side of it is, while Splatterboy wants it to be extremely clear, I think what's going to end up happening is either New York Times settles out for a licensing deal, or it actually is more ambiguous, right? Like, New York Times loses on a technicality, and while, you know, whoever was deciding the case sides with New York Times, they have to award the win to OpenAI for some jargon loophole that we don't see right now, but OpenAI and Microsoft's lawyers do.
I think everybody involved, they got to take a break, take 5, take a weekend.
Oh, like that.
Play near Automata.
Automata.
Near Automata. Give it a go.
Give it a go.
Well, how you feel about AI?
And then once you beat it, play it again.
Keep playing it. You need to play it at least four times.
4 times.
I think it's 4 times.
Yeah, you got to play it 4 times.
Play it 4 times.
We're not kidding.
The whole way through, and I'll know if you don't.
He checks your saves.
I do.
Giraffitti, which I chose this comment
no.
because I've spent so much time like arguing with people in comment response on this. I wanted one positive comment, so I picked this one saying, "You made a really good point about the lifespan of physical media in correlation to the expiration of digital licenses. Building off your point on compact disc, basically all CDs, besides specifically archival made ones, will experience irreversible data rot within 50 years and become useless. For example," I'm not going to read that. "Following in line with digital license expiration debate, would I realistically contact the French magazine and claim that I'm entitled to a new copy for continued access? Obviously not, since they're probably not even around nor have the rights to Daft Punk anymore. But the moment this situation applies to digital media, it's apparently a different story. Even assuming you make a copy to digital mediums, you're still betting on the lifespan of the digital medium, whether it's a hard drive, solid state drive, cloud, etc., which can still die suddenly and you're back to square one of nothing lasting forever. All in all, I I heavily agree with you that it's up to the user to extract the value from the media, and in the end of the day, it will inevitably disappear unless someone cares enough to maintain copies of the media. Thank you, Jarafiti. Now, people are going to be just railing in the comments against this.
I mean, it is a good point. CDs and like hard drives are finite. They do have expected lifespans. That's why we all need to start using that weird glass stuff that Google's making or something.
Google
or
Glass.
Microsoft.
I love Google Glass.
Yeah, the Google Glass. I don't know. I think it's Google or Microsoft is making like sheets of just like completely clear glass that you can store data on for like 10,000 years.
Or, hear me out. Delete your data. You don't need it.
No, just back it up every 3 years.
Get rid of it.
No.
You don't need to keep it.
Keep 10 backups.
You don't need Jack 2.
Every...
Jack 2 gotta die.
No.
Sorry.
No.
The Mister saying, I really appreciate your South African context in talking about tech accessibility. Too often the Southern Hemisphere is considered less important in terms of support and communication, even though EMEA is an important tech market. So I don't have a South African context. I have an American immigration context, which is a different one altogether. I have experienced it personally, which flavors how I see the world. Even as we're looking at treatments and cures and anything for my son, we are also having the conversation of what do we do about accessibility for these treatments in other areas, because it's a whole situation. We lived the life of not being able to have access to things all of the time, or if we did, we had to pay a very significant penalty for it. And I like talking about it because that's my lived experience, and you're welcome. And then we got the last comment of the year, Digitalized Death Lab, saying, you forgot to say you are our Brett host. You're slipping, falling, and can't get up. Make DMX proud in the next vidya, Brett host, all day, every day. Rock on, metal up, Kiss rules.
Kiss rules, huh?
I didn't forget. I'm choosing to forego it. Just like I'm foregoing hot news for the rest of the year. Bye!
Wait!
Come join us on Twitch.
No, don't go! Don't go! Please don't leave me! Please! Brett, Turn off the camera. Turn off the camera. It's a bit. I'm doing a bit. Please don't leave me! Come on, grab my hand!
You dug your grave.
Grab my hand! We're leaving now.